Oh, yep. So it went to Facebook and YouTube. So I'm just gonna wait a couple seconds and then check. Yep. So it went live on Facebook. Let me copy that. Hey guys, I'm just waiting a few minutes for a few. Oh, there's two people on the call. I'm just waiting a few minutes for a couple others uh, to come in. But thank you so much for joining us for our Love Boat edition. It's gonna be fun. Waiting a few minutes. I feel like I should have some music playing. I think I'm gonna play a little bit of music. Hi, Lynn. Aw, thank you, darling. Lanita, I think, has been on I think she's viewed every single discussion that I've had. Like, hands down, without fail, you have been on every panel. So thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. Makes my little heart happy. Well, you do more than try. You are definitely, you're on. There's a few other people who have been on every panel since starting, and it really means a lot to me. Like it means a lot more than you'll ever know. Where is Mm, oh, I can't find it. Why? Oh, there it is. All right. Just waiting to copy this link so I can send it to you guys so you guys can share it. Um, YouTube Studio. Hmm. Critical. Yep. So it went live. All right. I am going to start. I was trying to copy I was trying to copy the YouTube link so that I can share it, but it's not letting me do it. So as not to waste any more time, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Hannah Love of Love More People. We are a nonprofit organization that offers much needed services to inner city communities free of charge. We do this on both physical and virtual settings. We are currently in phase one, where we do all of these amazing roundtable talks with all of these amazing humans, where we discuss different important topics, have the necessary difficult and hard conversations with people that don't always look like us. One of the mistakes, and I say mistakes correctly, one of the mistakes that people make is that we often have isolated conversations with people that only look like us. And so the information that we gather kind of stays in our little pockets, and we don't really take this information to other spaces, right? So what happens is the one African American becomes a token African American in the all white setting, or the one Hispanic girl becomes a token Hispanic in her all African American settings. Where if we were to have the dialogues with people that don't look like us, we would learn so much more and so much faster and have a greater wealth of information to spread around. That being said, we start with these amazing conversations to kind of get our feet, to see what we like to talk about and what we like learning about. And because it is Valentine's Day, or at least it's Valentine's month, anyone who knows me intimately knows that Love Day is my favorite day of the year. I mean, it's in my name, right? So we figured that we would do a Love Day panel where we would feature, instead of having a multicultural panel like what we're used to, featuring Black love, because those are stories and narratives that we don't often see as often, right? Media has had us thinking that Black love does not exist. And if it does, it's filled with toxicity and pain. We don't see healthy and flourishing Black love, and we don't see Black love that is non traditional than what we are used to, right? Almost all of the Black love that we see, we're in the church and we're just sold out for Jesus. And we kind of use Jesus as a mask to deal with real issues like infidelity, real issues like children, real issues like death and disease, real issues like life. Um, and the sticky ones like finances, right? There are some things we can pray away. And then there are certain things where we need a therapist for. God bless. So, we are going to focus on Black love. We are celebrating Black love. We are going to look into Black love, and then we are going to play a game with our amazing couple. And so, before I start, we are going to do some quick introductions. Zainab, you have seen before, right? Zainab is the bougie chef. Zainab will be the one giving away the dinner, right? So whichever couple wins gets the bougie dinner experience by Zainab. Zainab is also the owner of said game, right? So because she is the owner of said game, and because Zainab has been married, um, and is the amazing mom of five strapping kings, she has a lot to offer as far as relationships done right, mistakes made in relationships, right? So that is Zainab. She will be our resident chef, as well as asking questions and offering whatever answers that she feels led to answer. And then we are going to start from the newlyweds and we are going to work our way up. So we are going to start with um, here. I can find it. This one. Okay. So we are going to start with our newlyweds being the Hills. So Randy and Ashley Hill reside in New Haven, Connecticut after courting for less than 4 months. 4 months. 1, 2, 3, 4 months. They got hitched on September 28th, 2019. They have a cat named Nyla and a tiny human that is currently baking in the oven. Randy has his bachelor's in psych, and Ashley is a licensed practitioner nurse. They are believers and they worship in their local assembly. They fell in love by chance and they stay in love by choice. Randy and Ashley use their love story to empower and encourage other Black couples to trust God, trust each other, and trust the journey. When they aren't working, they unwind by painting, connecting with each other, catching up on their favorite shows, and vacationing. This is a couple that vacations so much. I'm low key jealous, and I can't wait to get married so I can vacation as much as they do with their husband because they go all over the place, and it's really adorable. So that is being the Hills. These are our newlyweds. months. Our next couple, because we're going from married the shortest amount of time to married the longest amount of time, our next couple is Timothy Maurice and Key Williams. Bishop T. Maurice and Lady Key Williams reside in Roebuck, South Carolina, after courting for 8 months. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. They got married on August 4th, 2017. Together, they have 5 children and 6 grandchildren and a dog. Maurice owns Perfect Cleaning Service and is a part of several investment companies, Wealth Builders Worldwide, and Global Standard Partners. He is the CEO of Firestarters LLC, a financial literacy program for children, teen, and adults. They are the senior and executive pastors of Kingdom Cultural Center, where they aren't just a church, they are a movement. They hold true to the mission of Christ and believe in meeting one's total need. Through the application of biblical principles and practical living, we can experience heaven right here on earth because the kingdom of God is within us. When they are not ministering or building generational wealth, they unwind by watching documentaries. And you can catch them on their church page on Facebook at Kingdom Culture Center, and you can catch their IG on Kingdom Culture and Lady QL. And also you can find the Hills on Instagram at Being the Hills, being dot the dot hill. And now we get to the couple that has earned the name Seasoned Love. Jonathan and Renetta Hill, who from this moment forward we will affectionately call mom and dad because they're old enough to be our moms and our dads. They reside in New Haven, Connecticut. After courting for 3 years, Renetta asked Jonathan when he planned on buying her ring. It worked. She now has a ring. And after 30 plus years, they got married on October 6, 1984. And together they have raised 2 amazing men and through marriage have inherited 2 daughters. Jonathan has a master's in education. Mom has her bachelor's in computer science. They both attend the Messiah Baptist Church in Bridgeport, where dad serves as a church musician for praise and worship, and mom serves as a deaconess. They both are enjoying the retired season of their life. And they love hosting dinner parties for families and friends.
They're not retired yet, but...
Oh, they're not retired? Oh! No. Sorry. They're not retired. This whole time I thought you guys were retired. Oh, well, my apologies. But they do love hosting dinner parties for family and friends. Hold on,
Mom, you're on mute.
Speak it.
Yes, I will speak the retirement. I will speak that.
No.
Here is a fun fact. Mom and dad are the parents of Randy, who married Ashley. Right. So this panel has a mom and dad and a daughter and a son, which I think is kind of cool, which will kind of make the game a little spicy. Who's going to attack that first? So we are going to start with the first question, which is always my favorite question. Whenever I meet a couple for the first time, and I think the only couple I did not do this with is no, I did this with Reb, with Key. I didn't do it with the Hills because I was there for their love story, right? The first question I always ask is, what is your love story? So we haven't started playing the game yet, so this is for everyone to answer. Just so that those watching can kind of get a good sense of who you are. So what is your love story? Anyone can answer. Just remember to hit unmute before you talk.
Hey guys, we don't mind starting off. Good to see you all. I tell you, you all look really great. Our love story. Wow. Okay. First of all, we met in church. First of all, I was playing the keyboard for the church, and my beloved wife was in the choir singing a hearty alto, singing full voice, full power, and it was just very exciting time. Now, I must be honest, I had just began playing for the church. I've always been a keyboard player. So prior to church, I was playing in clubs. So I was, every Friday night, Saturday night, the band was playing somewhere. And I even continued to play in the band when I still met Net and played in the church. And we had a lot of fun, right? Traveling with the band. And that was a lot of fun, I thought. So we
traveled with the choir more than the band. The band was his side gig, right? And then he would pick up more choirs as the years went on. Not necessarily consulting me first before he picked up another choir, but that's another story for another day. But anyway, but the love story, this is a love part of our love story. So anyway, but we met in church and we dated for 3 years. At first when I met him, he was nice, but it wasn't like love at first sight. I'll just say that. And it just took time to grow. But basically our love story is met in the church and we dated for 3 years, and it's been, that's our love story. So I've got 37 years worth of stuff. I don't want to take up everybody's time. But that's the basic of my love story.
I think my favorite part of you guys retelling your story is when Dad says, I would just take gigs, and Mom went. That took me out. That is so adorable.
And mind you, we met in 1980 and got married in 1984. So, that was old school dating. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
Hannah, I think you're muted. Is she muted?
I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Sorry. I was going to ask a question and then I decided I'm going to wait. I'm going to put a pin in it because you said something bad. But I think being that there are so many different couples from different walks of life and from different time periods, and by time periods, I mean you've been married longer than I've been alive, right? So courtship in the 80s looks completely different than courtship in 2021. So that is something I would love for you guys to expound on and just kind of talk a bit about what dating looked like when you were courting versus transitioning to children, and then now that the children are out of the house and kind of like learning how to not date each other again, but learning how to date in 2021.
How about this? In 1980, no cell phones. There were no cell phones. Everything was a landline. There were even times when we fell asleep on the phone talking to each other.
Because he worked nights. So, yeah. Yeah. So the main thing, like the difference was like, John, I'm 5 years younger than John. So I was still in college when we started dating and I was still living at home. I was born in Alabama. My mother, we're from Alabama. Well, not both of us, but I was born in Alabama and my mother was extremely strict. So I still had a curfew. So let's say I'm like 19 or 20 or so, and John is 25, and here I am. I need to be home by 1 o'clock or right
in 1980.
1980. Oh, I was born in 60. Yeah, 19, right? 18 or 19. Anyway,
Mhm.
I was young. So, and I was still at home. But it was, I mean, he came and met my mother, because I could not go anywhere without him coming to the house. I couldn't, they had to meet my mother. I had an older brother, so the dating was that he had to, it was almost like approval, but, he had to meet my mom and I was not allowed to go out with him unless she met him. And it was like, it was like, oh, okay to go.
And last little quick story, not to steal all the time. It was a Sunday afternoon program. The choir had to sing. I lived in Bridgeport. The church and Renetta lived in New Haven. So I didn't have nowhere to go from church service to the 4:00 program.
And Bridgeport, New Haven's about a half an hour.
Right. New Haven, Connecticut, and Bridgeport is a half an hour distance. And Renetta's mom invited me to dinner. And what a great cook. And I was hooked right there, to be honest with you.
On my mom's cooking, not necessarily on me.
I was hooked on you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. As we say, dating back then, the parents were involved, the church was involved. So times were totally different back in 1980, without a doubt. Okay.
I can imagine. I remember my parents would say that they would come a courting or they would come a calling, because calling wasn't necessarily picking up the phone to talk. It was, I'm coming to call on you by knocking on your door. And there was always a third person present while you were in the room together. So it was kind of like there's a scene in Bridgerton where, oh, I can't remember her name. It's at the tip of my tongue. Where the one of the Bridgerton boys are talking to the person who he just ended his relationship with, and she's sitting right there. I think she's either playing the piano or she's reading, but she's physically present while they are having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that I like when I started dating in my early 20s, because I think I had my first date at 18. There was never a third person present. It was just, where you're coming to pick me up and then we're going out somewhere, right? It's completely different. So I think that is something that I would definitely love to see, the difference in how you guys kind of navigate dating in your 20s. And now, being that you have grown sons, what dating looked like for them.
Mm.
So we're going to go to the next couple, who is Key and Maurice. What is your love story? I know a little bit of it, but I want you guys to say it. What's your love story?
Well, hi, everybody. Our love story is very non traditional. I am a very overly cautious individual. So I met him through a guy that I grew up with who's like my big brother. And a friend, well, I have to tell a little bit of my history first. I have to tell the situation a little bit. So there was a guy who we grew up with, my brother and I grew up with, and he liked me. So we went on a few dates, nothing big. And then I found out this whole big saga about him. And I was like, oh no, he is not the one for me. And so my brother, Hannah's looking because Hannah knows the story. So, okay. So my brother happened to call me and I kind of fussed him out and said, well, this is what your friend did to me. Oh, I grew up with him too, but did you know this? And he says, oh, I'm, being a big brother, being very protective of me. Oh, I'm going to deal with him. Here I have some of my friends, one of them like you and another one's calling you their wife. So I'm very silly. I was like, who's calling me their wife? What's his name? So he told me his name is Timothy. I said, how old is he? He told me, I guess you were maybe 53 at the time. Mm-hmm. And I said he had, his children are grown. Well, he has children. I said, does he have baby mama drama? And he said, no, his children are grown. I said, okay, well, how tall is he? What does he look like? But I was really joking. And he said, hold on for a second. And he called him to the phone, and I was shocked because he was right there. And that's why he really called me, because this guy right here told him, call her. I want to talk to her. and he saw a picture of me. He said, I want to have a conversation with her. And he
I
called
wish
me
we
and
could pull up the picture that we saw.
write the picture. I can, if I look on my Facebook page and hold it up to the screen, I can show you. And so, I told my brother, I was like, don't do that. I don't like that. And he got it. I was like, hello, hi, how are you? Yes, my biological name is Nikema. So I said, my name is Nikema. What's your name? So we talked, and we spoke for hours and hours and hours. My brother's phone died. He called me back on his cell phone, and we just talked and talked and talked. And in my mind, I was like, okay, this is nice. I like him. Didn't know where we go. And we've been talking. That was January 1st of 2017. And we've been talking ever since. And he told me, he said, watch, we're going to get married. No, I found out that he lived in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I said, well, what is a Spartanburg? Yeah, I never heard of Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm from the Bronx. But then I found out, and I never wanted him to marry a Southern man. Just I have my reasons. But, so he is also from New York. He's from Brooklyn. And anyone who knows Brooklyn and the Bronx have this
Beef.
Awesome.
have this beef. They have this, right? So I don't even know how I married a guy from Brooklyn. So this is our little banter. We always talk about this. But he said, we're going to get married before And I was like, no, we're not. We can get married next year. You're going to come to New York. You're going to meet my mother. You're going to meet my father. You're going to meet my pastor because he watches for my soul. And you're going to talk to him and blah, 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 blah. He said, okay, if that's what you feel, that's what we're going to do. And then one day I told him, and I don't want to talk too long because I feel like I'm talking a lot. Before I met him, I'll say this because I'm overly cautious. Before I met him at my church in New York, I was a youth. Well, I did a lot of things, but one of the things I was a youth leader, and we had a guest speaker. She came to speak, and I aided her. I was a guest aide. She prayed for people, and God knew that she couldn't say the things to me in front of the people because of the way I would react. So we went downstairs, and she said, "Woman of God, did you get all that God, that you came for for the service?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She asked me again. I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she turned around and just told me what God was telling her for me. And I had a headache literally for 3 days because it was just like so much like overload of things that God was telling me that I knew only God knew. No one else knew. And one of the things she said, she kept saying, touching my heart. And she says, God's going to bless you with your own family. And I mean, literally, I'm not the fallout girl in church. I'm not doing that. I'm not falling out. I can prevent myself. Okay, I'm not doing that. And my knees were buckling. They were like holding me up. And I was like bawling, crying because the only person I said that to aside from God was my sister. I was like, I just want my own family. I got married when I was 40. I just wanted my own family. She started saying things. And the thing that stuck out to me, she said, when you get married, people are not going to understand why you do it the way you do it. But do it. God said do it because this is his will for your life. And that kept haunting me when I met him. I couldn't sleep at night in my classroom. I was just so out of it. And so I called him one day and said, babe, we got to get married now. And he was like, oh, you sound like you heard from God. I said, no, well, yeah. And I explained to him later. So that was, we got married January 1st. We met January 1st, 2017. And we were married August 4th, 2017. And, I went through a lot in that time because in that time, I like to say, I lost the same job twice. Hannah knows about that too, because we met from working together. So I lost the same job 2 different times. And at the time, I was planning a wedding, a relocation. And I'm like I said, I'm overly cautious. At the time, I had a 13-year-old. I'm not bringing my child to a foreign land with a man, but I just knew God orchestrated it. So that's kind of our love story, right? And I'm going to tell you guys what hooked me even more. When I found out that he had grandchildren, I was like, you're a grandfather? Because I've always wanted grandchildren. And my daughter, or our daughter, excuse me, at the time was 13. And I love my mom's mom. I love my Nana. And I always wanted, she was my favorite girl, so I always wanted to be a grandmother. So now, here I am, fabulous at almost 44, and I'm a Mimi, and I love my grands. I have 6. That's our love story.
Awesome. Well, she said enough. And it's beautiful.
And he's not quiet.
No, but I just have just a little to say, and this is what I have to say. When I looked in the book, this was a scrapbook.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking through the book with her brother, and she had a hat pulled down over her head. Couldn't see her face, but it looked like she was at a derby where they have race horses and wealthy people go to and watch the derby, and they dress very fabulous with their martinis and all of that. That's what that reminded me of. She didn't have a martini in her hand, but she had that look. And I said, wow, I never saw her face. I didn't know what she looked like. I don't know. I said, that's going to be my wife. Playing, but not playing. And the playing part was, I just said it, but the not playing part was, this is what I believe totally, like for real. I believe that God has called, and I'm not going to make this line a religious line, but I got to tell you what I believe God said to me. I believe God has called his people to be royalty, not just in dressing, but in spirit and heart and everything. That's attractive to me. And I said, wow, she has a classy, wealthy look about her, not just on the outside. We can build a future together and legacy together, because it's more than just being married to me and just living with each other. What are we doing? Where are we going? What are we doing, and what are we going to leave behind? Not just money, though we're going to do that also, but what legacy are we going to leave behind that will be impressionable to our family, our children, grandchildren, but we're going to impact the world? Because it's not, for me, it's not just, if I'm going off this, help me. Put me back on, y'all. Maybe I'm trying to preach. I'm not trying to preach. But it's not just about, and I'm going to be quiet on it. It's not just about going to bed for me, eating, using a bathroom, blah, 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 and die. It's purpose. So I believe when God brings two people together, I believe there's purpose in those two people. And God has put purpose in both of us. And we're going to build legacy. I mean, like, we're going to build legacy for real. Night and day, every day. We're going strong for God. I'm excited. Thank you.
Yep, that is my rebel. Absolutely.
Hannah,
And thank you.
Hannah, I need tissue. This is too much.
Aw.
I'm really crying. I love it. I love hearing it. And I can't
It's
wait
love.
to hear Ashley's The Hills, like that story. Oh God, I'm gonna lose it. You know, go ahead. Share your stories.
Okay. I was just about to say, Mrs. Ashley Hill, I'll let you share your story, and then I'll chime in with my 2 cents. And I promise not to have all my makeup run off my face.
You guys are funny. I love
I
y'all
promise
so
not
much.
to.
I apologize because my husband is still working right now, so I gotta, lead the ship until he can come back. But pretty much it just so happened that we met. He was playing the drums at a church in Brooklyn, and I was living in the Bronx. But Brooklyn in the Bronx. You see there. And but it just so happens that he lived in Connecticut, which I had no idea. And that weekend, Hannah and I and a few other girls, we were on a mission, just going to church, just church concerts and things of that, and fellowshipping with one another. And Hannah said, "Well, you know what? I would like for you to come to a church with me tomorrow." And I said, "Okay, well, if I'm going to go to Brooklyn to go to church, you have to come to my church in the Bronx." So we were just church hopping, but in the spirit of fellowshipping, and literally go to the church in Brooklyn. And the drummer there, of course, he was late coming from Connecticut, but he just got on the drums and he just started flowing. And I was like, okay, my brother's a drummer and I would love to record this. And Hannah, definitely want to catch my sister singing. So I didn't have any more storage on my phone, on my Android. And I decided to go live on Facebook. And going live on Facebook after the service was over, he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, I noticed you had the camera on me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I went live." And he's like, "Oh, all right. can I get your information? I'm like, all right now, don't try anything funny. But eventually he found me on Instagram and I'm like, oh God. And I ducked and dodged my husband for a month. So from May to June, I ducked and dodged him and I was not interested. But what ended up happening was, and I tell everybody, we developed a circadian rhythm. So I got so used to shutting him down on a daily basis that when he stopped texting, I was like, sure did shut me down. So thank you, babe. So when he stopped texting, I was like, wait, well, what happened? And it became like a cat and mouse, but then it was like, wait, all right, you can stop chasing me because I'm going to talk to you. What's up? And we ended up having the best conversation. We were on the phone for hours and hours. And then, but the thing about it was he knew exactly what he wanted. I was still much so like, but maybe, let's take it slow. He asked my brother for permission to date me. And I'm like, okay, but wait, let's still take it nice and slow. And then we just, from June to July, we were just so happy with one another. And the thing that people, often ask me is, well, what was your type? And I'll tell you, my husband was not my type. And that was the blessing, because when you stick to a type, you'll end up missing out on your blessing. And that's something that I had to learn. And I learned that with my husband because I ended up stepping out on not only faith, but trust in God. And then at some point, I was like trying to find something wrong with him. Oh, he's too good to be true. What's wrong with you? And little arguments was happening, and it wasn't his fault, but it was just like, show me who you are, reveal to me who you are. And he said, no, this is me. This is me. And he came from a great home, as you guys can see. His parents are here. And he was just a great man. But it went a step further. He proposed in July, and I'm like, we just started dating. What are you proposing for? Like, this is crazy. But I still said yes. It was beautiful. Wow. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's chiming in. And then so I said, okay, well, if you crazy, I'm crazy too. We're gonna both be crazy together. And then he did the unthinkable. No man has ever met my dad. My dad is very traditional, from Alabama, military based. And it was just like, you want to meet my father? And that was something that was like, it scared me, but I was also excited. And I knew that he was different. And I can tell you, his parents, helped us packing up sandwiches and snacks and things of that nature. And we got on the road and we went all the way down to Alabama. And he met my parents, and I thought my dad was going to react in one way. As soon as we got out the car, my dad was like, hey, and just their relationship from that day forward, it touched me in so many different ways because it mattered. When you marry the person, you don't just marry the person, you marry into the family, you marry into everything that they are, their well-being, their character, where they come from, who they represent. And my husband just represented greatness, and I was just grateful that there were so many ties and connections that we had. He plays chess, and he was able to identify that with one of my brothers, and yes, chess players. And then he plays the drums, and then I have another brother who's a drummer, and he has family from the city and the Bronx, and going to church in Brooklyn, and all of these different things. And I mean, the similarities, our families are from Alabama, and so we have so many similarities that it was just like, God, we were made for each other. But all I had to do was step out on faith and trust God that I'm not acting within myself. This is God's doing. And once I knew that that was the case, I tell you, everything that we touched, every door that we entered, it just opened. Like, it seemed like it just fell down. Like, nope, you guys want it, you're together, here it is. Like, God was just raining down blessings on us. And now We've been married for a year and change. We have a baby on the way. And God is just blessing us, just continually blessing us. And I thank God for everything. So that is our love story. And everybody has been a part of it. And it's still a journey. He was meant for you. Yes, he was. And it's been really truly miraculous. And that's just that's our love story. That's our love story in a nutshell.
Love bug. If I could share something. So when I did the dinner for you guys, I guess a couple of months back, what took me out in hearing your love story was actually hearing this Black man. Because again, we don't really hear about Black love. We don't really see a lot of Black men speaking so highly and so kindly of their women. And to stand in front of this man almost in tears and look at his wife and say, and claim it and own you and say, and be proud to be your husband, and for him to actually say, I knew what I wanted, and I knew that's who I wanted, and I wasn't going to stop until I got that, and I was going to marry this woman. And so to hear him affirm that, that's the day I almost lost it. I was like, okay, I can't take this anymore. This is too much. I love the story. But that's why I love the fact that this is happening, because we need to hear more of that. More Black men need to hear that. My sons need to hear that. They need to hear other Black men speaking greatness into other women, into Black women specifically, because unfortunately we're not spoken so kindly of a lot of times. And so I'm crying. I'm gonna get some tissue. I'm gonna come off screen for a second because all these love stories, they got me going, but I'm excited. Okay,
And
Hannah,
it
back
doesn't
to you.
take all day. Love does not take all day at all. You know, I understand, the differences with the time and how dad and mom, they were talking about the 3 years. And, you know, as the generations change, a lot of people rather date for 10 years and live together and reap the benefits of being together, but they refuse to marry. And once you bring up that word, it's almost like there's a fear. And that's the bad part, because people just don't understand it's work. It is work, it's compromise, but what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And it really is just a blessing. No matter how you count it, it's all just a blessing. And it doesn't take all day.
Can I say? I'll say to connect with you, my sister. You are 1,000% right. And even if you don't marry, it's still going to be work. Even if you don't marry and you living with one another, it's going to take work. So my philosophy is, well, I came from a background they believe in marriage. You know, I could tell them a little bit about. Well, anyway, what I'm saying is it's best to go ahead and get married. Why? Because if I'm living with the person and I say I love the person, then if I'm afraid to marry, then I should be afraid to live with them too. So, so I just believe if God had them for you, marry. I think it's honorable for me since a little boy when I see men. I don't care if they got big rings or wearing Rolex watches with diamond rings. The wedding ring to me is the most gorgeous ring, the most beautiful ring on a man's hand. When I see that, it represents a spirit of stability, and it represents a spirit of um, I'm going somewhere, and it ain't always so when I'm getting ready to say, but I got check over my lower desires because I'm disciplined. And the word discipline come from the word disciple. So I'm a disciplined disciple. And that's how I see it. Thank you so much. God bless.
Ooh, y'all, it's too early to start with the tears and oh man, it's too early. Oh man. Okay. We are gonna go to the next question. I'm gonna try not to break down. How has your marriage grown, stretched, or matured you? Now, this question is super important because there are different points of marriage here, right? There's like the seasoned love with the newlyweds, and then we found love later in life. So, how has your marriage matured, stretched, or grown you as an individual? Go.
I can definitely answer this. Communication skills, for sure. I am a person, although I was born in the South, my background is more so Bronx. When you come from the Bronx, you have a certain mentality. You almost kind of shift into survival. You may have learned the skills mom and dad, mom and or dad may have taught you, but it's just a certain characteristic that you have. And then with the survival skills, there's also that independence. And when you have that, and I got it, and you become very prideful. And the structure, I won't just say the Bronx, I'll just say the city, period. The structure that it creates inside of the person when it comes to sharing your life with somebody, it's not easy. It's almost like it's another wall. It's an invisible wall that you have. And that's something that I was so used to doing things by myself that when it came to not just my husband, but a man, it was like, what? You got to lead, not me? Like, that's what I'm used to doing, you know, and learning just so many different things, just learning how to be submissive, learning how to be patient, learning how to be kind, and not just because he's not just somebody that I'm dating. If I was dating you and we got into this type of conflict, I'd be like, look, you an option. See you later. But when you're married, you learn how not to be disrespectful, work through problems. When it gets a little tough, I'm not going to tell you no story. You know, when it gets a little tough, it takes more patience. You know, it definitely takes prayer. I don't know how people make it without prayer and knowing God, to be honest with you. But there's just so many different factors, but there's so many things I've learned as not just a woman, but as a person, just being married. And I can tell you, I know I've evolved. And there's a difference between growing and evolving. And I know that I have evolved for the better. And not just that, but once you really start evolving, everybody can't go where you are, and they won't understand where you are. And you just gotta adjust the change, you know, adjust and call it a day. So that's what I've learned, you know, being married, and that's how it stretched me. And it's not always easy, but like I said, it's worth it.
Thanks for sharing, Ash. That communication is definitely important. I think one of the things I'll have to on that faithful day is learning to ask for help because I'm super independent. If I need something from the top shelf, I will push up 4 chairs under the cupboard and I will climb up and get it myself. I have to learn to ask someone else for help. So that is definitely something I have to prepare from now. If I plan on being somebody's wife and married to somebody's son, I might need to learn how to ask somebody for help. All right, mom and dad, or Reb and Maurice, how has marriage grown, stretched, or matured?
I would say that when I first got married, I was 22 and John was 27. Um, and with me, I was in love with love. I loved him. I was in love with him as well. But the whole idea, I am a hopeless romantic. And so when I got married, I thought that by, I don't know, magic, osmosis, I don't know, that he was just supposed to know everything about me. And it was going to be rosy and dozy every day because we're married and you know. And so reality set in. And you know, I what I realized is that we had to talk, we had to grow, we were in love, but you're still two individuals, and that's okay. And thank God that you know it's so true what Ashley said. We met in church. God was always in the center of our relationship. And so we were both spiritual people, but I had to learn to talk. We had to learn to communicate. John is I'm the one that, that's me. For John, it took a little more. So I had to learn how to reach him. I'm, because I talk so much that everything just comes out. And so I wanted it back. It's like, talk to me, what's wrong? What are you feeling? Tell me. So I just had to learn to communicate in a different way so that he didn't shut down. And I would talk to him and tell him like what I expected or what are the expectations. And so it was growing. We knew that we needed to talk to one another, but communication certainly was key, and letting each other know what we need. Like we love each other, but because you're married, it doesn't mean that you're like twins and that you're going to automatically know what the other one is thinking or what the other one needs or what the other one expects you to do. You're still individuals, and you have to allow room still in that love, in that marriage, in that bond. God bless you. To still be individuals and still, you're still one. And it doesn't mean because you're married that you're just supposed to know, everything about me. And so that's, how I've grown, and our love has grown. We're still very much in love with each other, but it's grown and it's changed and it's matured. It's not that, that kiddish, there's my husband, and there are still those times, but it's just matured to, we just know each other. You get through those rough patches or those because you just know each other. And
you learn that subtle differences does not necessarily have to be a confrontation.
Right.
And sometimes slight confusion doesn't need to turn into calamity.
Right.
And over the years, I've come to learn how to speak it and get it out,
right.
So that.
Right. Because John thought that if he told me the things that I was doing, that was just annoying. Let's be honest. We live together, and there's just certain things that we do. Just we get on each other's nerves, but not intentionally. But he thought that by telling me that he would hurt my feelings, so that I don't know, baby. Do you think I'd leave? I don't know, but
as I said, I was afraid that every little confrontation might turn into an argument and therefore turn into a fight. And it never did do that, but that was just my nature. I'm not confrontational. So
yeah. Where I am like, tell me what's wrong. I want to know. Let's work it out. Like right now. And he has to think about it. He bounces. He thinks and weighs everything. The good with the bad. And let's think about it. Let's work it through. Where I'm like, let's do it now, let's talk about this. We got to work this thing out, but when we did, I must admit, we never really, we didn't go to bed mad, no, we worked it out. We talked it through. It's just learning what do you say? The different languages of love, communication is one. And then you just have to know, and over the years, you know, and you grow together, but it takes time and it takes patience. Marriage is the most wonderful and beautiful institution, but it's work. It's still work, even after 37 years. And this October, it'll be 37 years. You still have to, you still work at it. You still work at being romantic and going on dates and holding hands and cuddling. And you still have to do those things that you did at the very first day that you that you met. You know, I can still look at him and there's, you know, and it just, oh, you know, you are so fine. You know what I'm saying? And you have to tell him that. You know, you have to, and he tells me as well. You know, he'll say, you know, oh, boo, you look good today, or oh, you know, is that a new cologne or what? You know, what, or you know, right? Or you know, and it's the little things. It's still the little things that you have to do. And that makes you grow and mature and, you know, grow in this thing. You know, it's a progression. Still, as long as y'all together, it's a progression. And you're going to learn something new about each other all the time because it's a progression. You know, yeah. That's enough, I guess. That's cool. You guys say something?
When I grow up, I want that. Man, you guys answered like two of the questions. I can't even ask them anymore. Oh, no, you're fine. It's just like I'm looking at my questions before we get to the game, and I'm like, yep, they just answered that, and they just answered that. Well, all right now. Wow, Reverend Maurice, how has marriage grown and stretched and matured you?
That was some good stuff.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
You
great.
and you talking about crying. They say grown men don't supposed to cry. Well, I'm grown and I'm crying. And I'm still a man. I'm still a man.
Right. Still a man. Right.
Oh God, that was beautiful. I could just listen to that all day, both of y'all.
Marriage has changed. You said how? What was the question again?
How did marriage change you?
How did marriage change me?
Yeah.
Hannah, you're on mute.
How did marriage grow, stretch, or mature you?
Okay. Like the baby hills talked about. The baby hills talked about. You know, living in the Bronx, that concrete jungle. It can harden you because you grew up in the like a hustle and the bustle of everything. Everything is fast paced, and you know, I grew up. My parents weren't married, but they separated early on in my life, so it was like a back and forth. And I think finally they probably separated for good when I was about 14, right before I went into high school, and then really got a divorce when I was 26. But that's beside the point. Um, so I grew up primarily with my mom and my sister and I was with the single mother and who taught me to be very independent. So, like I tell my husband often, we had this conversation last night, right? Mm-hmm. At 10 years old, I was taking my 4.5-year-old sister down the blocks on 2 buses to take her to school. On certain church nights, we were meeting my mom at Bible study. We lived in the Bronx. We went to school and went to church in Harlem. So I was taking clothes to the laundromat at 10, 11 years old, washing clothes, helping to cook in the house, of course, cleaning and just doing a lot of things. I was independent, you know. I was raised to be strong and independent, and you know, I grew up with a strong Black woman, so I had all of that. I had to learn to depend on somebody because I am so used to, or was, sometimes still am, used to doing a lot by myself. I'm not saying that I didn't have the help of my mom or my sister. I'm not saying that, but I was so used to doing everything by myself. Our youngest daughter had to grow up partially for 13 years of her life, basically with a single mom. So I'm not going to say I was mom and dad. God made me woman, hand me raw. I was only mommy. But I had to, then I was kind of continuing on that general. Well, my mother she became a single mother. So I was kind of continuing on that single mother thing. And I was used to doing everything by myself. Like I said, I had my mom's help and things like that. But my daughter, or our daughter, I'm going to say my daughter because at the time I was single. My daughter was no one's responsibility but mine. So I was, independent, went to work and did all of those things. So before I got married, I had the relationship that I was in before I got married is when God, like I said before, I got married at 40. And I'm actually happy that the wait period, the waiting sometimes gets a little like, okay, oh my God, hello. I'm nearing 40. It wasn't even about the biological clock. Okay. It was like, okay, I'm nearing 40 hi, I don't want to get married when I'm 75. Okay. Let's go, Jesus. Okay. I used to call him out the window. Hi, I don't know where you are and who you are, but I'm here. Come find me. I mean, literally, I used to call him out the window like, hi, come and find me because I'm ready. Thank you. The relationship that I was in before I got married, God showed me how to gave me a taste of depending on a man. I had to have major surgery, and then I ended up in the hospital a few months later after that. So my mom, along with the previous relationship, like I was bedridden. I had to be taken care of. So as much as I didn't like that, I didn't know it was like a setup for when I got married. Because when I came down here, even before I came down, I looked for jobs. Yeah, it was nothing. Okay. And I was going to at first, help set up home and get used to my city. And 1 year of not working turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 3 and maybe 2 months, or whatever. It turned into basically 2.5 years, and that pushed me to be an entrepreneur. But my point is that marriage has taught me that it's okay to depend on somebody. I don't always have to be the strong Black woman, or I don't always have to do everything by myself. It's about compromise, and it's about dependency, codependency. And so I had to learn to depend on him because, yeah, it's still growing me. It grew me, it stretched me. It's still growing me. It's still stretching me because I'm married to an alpha male. My husband is definitely, yes, you. My husband is definitely an alpha, and I am
Alpha.
I'm
You're
not an
not
alpha female.
but you want something. What's the woman's name? The strong woman.
I am
Type A.
No, but I'm really not type A. Yeah. I'm not type A at all.
It's a mixture.
It's a mixture. It is. I'm not type A, but I am passive aggressive. I'm not really aggressive. I'm passive aggressive. So I can, in my mind, I can get someone to do something that I want them to do. It's not manipulation. It's gentle coercion. I can get someone to do something. Like if I see that the plan is great, I can say, well, because I've always been a teacher. You teach people, you guide them a certain way, and so that's the way that I've always been. But in marriage, it's not always my way, and I knew that, but it's a hard lesson because sometimes I just want things my way. I want to be heard. I always want to be heard, and it's growing and stretching me, and I'm learning to be quiet, and I don't have to fight to be heard because I've always fought to be heard, so I don't have to fight to be heard. Just be quiet. And like you said, Baby Hill, what's Baby Hill's first name? Because I don't want to keep calling you Baby Hill.
Ashley.
Okay, I apologize.
Ashley. It's all right though.
Like Ashley said, she doesn't know how people get their relationships without prayer. Because even when I've learned and I'm learning that it doesn't always have to be a tit for tat. I don't always have to have the last word. And sometimes I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm just gonna take you to your Father. I'm gonna take you to your Maker. And I really do pray and just like leave it alone. But yeah, it's stretching me. It has stretched me to know that I have to have a codependency on someone. I don't have to do everything by myself. And that's one of the things, or two of the things. But okay, go ahead, babe.
Not going to be long, I promise you. My wife said enough. I'll say this much to you. Um, I'm 56 years old. And when I met my wife, I wasn't 56 years old, but I'm older, a little older. I done been through relationships already. So inside I was bitter. Like I'm not waiting for nobody. I've always, since a young man, since Brooklyn, I've always started organizations. I'm a community. I call myself slash pastor community activist. I've always been with Al Sharpton. I don't know him personally, never been to his house, but I've always been working in the community. I believe when you see something that's broken, change it. Don't go talking about it. So I've always been active in my community from Canarsie by Brownsville, if anybody know anything about that area. And so when I met my wife later on, then I've been through the Nation of Islam. I was a 5% of Nation of Islam, then the church. So I was always about rah, 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 let's get it done. We're gonna build family, we're gonna build legacy. We ain't just sitting around just nah, we rah, rah, rah to the people, power to the people, and let's do this thing. That's always been me. 56 years later, that's still me. So being with my wife, I had to calm myself down because I feel like I'm a militant man of God. And militant don't mean with a gun in your hand and a bomb. I just believe let's get the job done and we ain't gonna be sitting around all the time playing. God, what you want us to do? Let's do it. So I had ministry on my mind like I do now. So my wife brought a balance to that, right? But I always tell her, sometimes we'd be sitting here looking at television, and I'm finished on this, and maybe they didn't even ask you a question. We sit here looking at television, and I say I love the mans and stuff. I love different people. They made legacy for themselves. That's why we watching them. All right, I see you. I got to go to the room. I'm planning our future, so forth and so on. But what stretched me is for me and my wife to talk truthful to each other. A lot of time people don't talk raw to each other. I ain't talking about cursing and hollering. Our new policy in our house is if something's wrong, we're gonna talk about it for real, for real. We ain't sweeping nothing under the rug. We ain't gonna try to hide nothing. Know what you did. Like we had a recent conversation, and I said, I believe that you are, I believe that you are, I believe that you, can I be honest? Can I talk?
Yeah.
I believe you're a little slothful.
You said rebellious.
Rebellious. She said, what you mean rebellious? I said, because when we got to do something, I see that you refrain from it. And I said, I see the pattern because I've been with other women like that. I can see a pattern. You know, life leaves patterns, good patterns and bad patterns. And I hope nobody take this out of context, but nevertheless, so I said to my wife, I said, she's been hurt like I have. I have to be careful on how I approach her with my dialogue, how I speak to her. And I don't think cursing at her, speaking rough, but I gotta use wisdom because she's been hurt in the area like I have. So we go to Christian counseling, and I never did that with no woman in my life. Me go to a counseling, God is my counselor. No, that's the best thing when I go to Judy, is her name? Mm-hmm. When I go to Judy, it's the best thing. I fold my legs up there and I just talk and I enjoy myself. And because guess what? I'm not ashamed to tell people I'm still broken in some areas. I'm not ashamed as a pastor, as a human, as a man, as a father, as a grandfather. I'm not ashamed. And guess what? I don't care if nobody go run and talk about me because guess what? They're broken too in some ways. So guess what, people? Marriage is the real deal. And if you ain't real with yourself and you ain't on this journey for real, it ain't gonna be good. That's what I told my wife. I said, if I ever had to meet somebody on this journey again, which I don't, I said, if they're not in high pursuit of a journey about the real them and digging deep in them, and then they come to me and try to slow me down because I've been doing this for a while, being real with myself, I don't want to be with them because now you're gonna put me back in first grade when I graduated to high school. Now you make me go back and go back to public school because you didn't graduate from public school, and now you want me to go back. I'm finished. Thank you. Love y'all.
Wait, Hannah, before you say anything, I have to say to Pastor Bishop, let me tell you, that was right there. People need to hear that because counseling is something that some people, when they hear it, they're afraid. You never know what may come up. You never know what may be exposed, feelings, emotions. And like you said, patterns as well. And that's something that I can identify with, because when you see patterns, it automatically takes you back to whatever moment, good, bad, indifferent, it takes you back. And a lot of people don't know that they're still dealing with things, and they're bringing that into what is a great thing, what is a blessing. And so a lot of people need to really hear that there's nothing wrong with counseling, even once you get married. Just because God ordained it doesn't mean that it stops there. There's still work that needs to be done. There's still teachers out there. Like people say, there's healing in medicine, and God is in medicine. Well, God is in, counseling as well. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
To God be the glory. Thank you.
That was one of my questions, and you guys answered it. The importance of counseling while you're married. Oftentimes, couples go through premarital counseling and it becomes a checklist, right? They have a list of all of the things that they have to get done before marriage. There's the wedding, there's the dress, the cake, the food, the flowers, and we'll just squeeze in marital counseling just to say that we've done premarital counseling. And then they forget that after the honeymoon, right? You have to wake up next to this person. And like mom and dad said, there are times where you annoy your spouse, and it's not malicious and it's not done with intent. It's just, I have my ways about me that I've had before I married you. And you have your ways about me that you had before you married me. And now these both ways are coming to live under the same roof. I have a way that I wash the dishes, and you have a way that you wash the dishes. Me personally, if I'm washing the dishes, I hate when you put dishes in the sink. It is my pet peeve. I have to get used to living with children who just dump things in the sink. So while I can train my children, I don't train my husband, because my husband isn't a child, nor is my husband a dog. My husband is a human whose opinions and mindset I value. So now it becomes a conversation. Sweetie, please do not drop your dirty fork in the sink while I'm washing the dishes, or it will stay right there. I will not watch it. Right. But there are ways and there are things that you have to discuss. And it sounds silly, right? A fork in the sink sounds so silly, but it can destroy a marriage. And it's not the fork, it's the lack of communication surrounding the fork. It's not identifying where it's coming from. It's not addressing how you feel about it, right? So it's not just the fork in the sink. It's, hey, I feel taken for granted when you just assume that I'm going to do something because I'm there without asking me, can you do this? Or seeing if I'm tired, or just tapping me out, right? So counseling is a great tool to it's a great tool, right, to give the couple tips and tricks and tools on how to navigate through marriage, because you are living with a total stranger. And for the first few years of your marriage, you're a total stranger to this person. Just because you're sleeping together doesn't mean that you know everything about them, because who mom was when mom got married is not who mom is almost 40 years later. She has grown and evolved, and there's a level of patience that comes with learning who my spouse is standing in front of me, right? So that was definitely one of my questions, counseling. And now we're going to get to the game. So here is how the game works. I am going to ask a question, and if the question is too much for you to answer, you can tap out, right? If you tap out, you forfeit your turn to lose the bougie dinner experience, right? If you choose to answer, you have to answer honestly, right? There is the mute button on your screens where you can choose to mute and kind of discuss with your spouse, hey, do we want to answer this question? Or do we not want to answer this question? Do we want to tap out? Oh, wait, no, Randy's still in his work meeting. Oh, darn. Mm,
I'll tap out till he comes. I'll tap out till he comes around.
okay.
Just to be fair.
Fair enough. Okay. So, yeah, so you can choose to answer the question, you can choose not to answer the question. Um, I would strongly suggest that we use this wonderful communication tool, right? And check in with your spouse before just blurting out an answer. Um, a little backstory. When I was looking for different couples, I had asked one couple if they would be willing to participate. And at first, the wife was very excited, and in having the conversation with her husband, discovered that there was actually a rift in their marriage that she had no idea was there. Communication. He had done something, she thought everything was fine and over with. He was still holding on to it, right? Communication. That's why communication is so important. We don't want that to happen. I don't want rifts in marriages. I want communication, and I want the viewers to see that couples can have fun while addressing like the heavy hitters. So I'll ask the first question, or you know what, we'll do a tester question. We'll do a tester question just so that you guys can see what it will feel like. So here is your tester pre-round question. If you were a Barbie doll and you came with two attachable pieces, what pieces would your husband or would your spouse come in? So mom, you're answering for dad. Dad, you're answering for mom. Reb, you're answering for Maurice. Maurice, you're answering for um, Reb. And Ashley, you'll be answering for Randy. Right? So if your spouse was a Barbie doll that came with two attachable pieces, what would those attachable pieces be? And go.
Protection. This is something that if he were next to me, I'd say he is the legs. Protect your family, God forbid anything, like I said, that's my answer. When you die from natural causes, which is most likely what's going to happen. I actually do have to.
Say it again.
You said two detachable pieces, and we were Barbie dolls.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say he's the legs.
I showed you.
Mm-mm. That's that. I asked the question wrong. Okay. So
Okay.
if I were a Barbie doll and I came with two attachable pieces, I would have a microphone and my laptop.
The two accessories.
The
Two
two
accessories,
accessories.
two
That's
accessories.
the word. Thank you. The two accessories. My apologies. I used the wrong word. So if your spouse were to come with two accessories, what would those accessories be and why? That's the correct way to ask the question. My apologies.
Uh, Man, I don't. Whoa, excuse me for stuttering like this. Wow, I would the accessories.
Okay, I only have two.
I would like. Wow, I'm gonna use the word I'm gonna use the word secretary. And when I say that, meaning that like an office person, which she is, like a person who put things together and organize things and things like that. That's one of the accessories. She have it already. That's one of the accessories I would,
Like, so would that be like a notepad, a pen?
like a notepad and a pen, right? And it might sound crazy. No, it might sound, and a telephone for communication.
Okay.
So I don't.
Okay, where's my turn?
Okay.
Now, do I go right after him? Okay. If he were a Ken doll, his two accessories would. Well, first of all, if he were a Ken doll, he would be.
I'm a hunk of a man.
Yes, you are a hunk of a man. He would be. He would be a Ken doll soldier. He would be a soldier. Um, he would be a military Ken doll. And I think that he would have probably that no Ken. He said he would have a lot of money. Okay, that's
He'd be a rich kid.
It is an accessory. But it's from the lens of Reb. Does Reb see you having?
If he were a Ken doll, he would definitely be a military Ken doll, and he would have some type of stripes and badges. Would be one of his accessories because he is very much a general. Like I said, he's a alpha male. He's an alpha male. So that would be one, and then the next one would be I don't know how to explain it. I I don't know what the accessory would be because he is very much okay. He would have some stripes and badges because he is very much of an alpha male and he's take charge type of guy, and he would have some type of banner waving like
Campaigning.
for like campaigning and stuff because he's always campaigning and everything is a movement. So that's the type of Ken doll he would be.
That was good.
Okay, if Renetta were a Barbie doll, she would have the accessories of an aerobics instructor, different aerobic outfits, and she would also have AKA paraphernalia. So those two accessories would be hers.
And if John was Ken, he'd come with a keyboard because he's a musician. He have his keyboard with him, and he's very smart. I think my husband's very smart, and he's a teacher as well. So he would have a book or pencil, some type of educational, laptop, book, pencil, pen in his hand. That would be his accessories.
Cool. And Ash, what would Randy have? What are the two accessories you foresee Randy having?
A Bible and a mirror. A Bible and a mirror. A Bible because my husband loves God. He loves the word. We can't have a conversation without, and I mean an intense conversation without him saying something about God in the scripture. And I'm like, I don't have a rebuttal because I'm like, and I can just storm off somewhere. So definitely a Bible and a mirror because some things when we're actually talking, he causes me to really reflect on myself. And there are times that I look at him and I'm like, you are not a therapist. And he can tell you. But then I'm like, it's a good thing because it's character building with myself, even in a marriage. So those two things would be the things I choose as his accessories.
All right. Now let the games begin. You have 60 seconds to answer the question. Some of the questions are fun and light and cool, and some of them are difficult on purpose because we have to eliminate somebody. So they are difficult on purpose. And so we will start with the first question. What is the best memory that you have? What is the best memory that you have with me?
Me meaning they're partners, right, Hannah? So they're understanding you correctly?
Yes, yes. So, Mom, what is the best memory that you have of Dad? Reb, what's the best memory that you have of Maurice?
Hannah, are you talking to us?
Is anyone answering in any order?
Any order is fine.
Oh,
The greatest memory I have with my wife is when she was in South Cal, when she was in
I was in
when
New
she
York.
was in the Bronx. I ain't too favorable about the Bronx. When she was in the Bronx, I was down here, and I had the opportunity of sending money to her and make sure that Ken and her was good in New York City. But I also had the opportunity to buy the bed, get some dishes in the house, have things fixed up so when they fly down and come in, the house will be cozy already. So that made me feel good. When they came through the door, I said, everybody close your eyes. And I said, and they opened their eyes. They said, oh, this is nice. Because I didn't lay in the bed until it was a brand new bed. I didn't lay in the bed. I stayed on the floor because I want both of us to share the bed. So I just stayed on the floor with a cover and a pillow. So to go pick them up and to bring them to the new environment, that did my heart so good because I wanted to put them in a safe, clean, and decent environment. And I believe that God blessed me to do that. And it's getting better and better because I'm putting it in a mansion, like for real. I ain't talking about when she died neither. But that's for real. I love you guys. Thank you.
My best memory with him was not actually is not one of my favorite memories. I'll say that wasn't really when we were married. It was while we were courting. He came to New York for a whole month, and that's a whole different story. And we were at his brother's house, and he was going through something. Well, we courted for 8 months, but I got to see very early on how he handled stressful situations with family members, and he expressed a certain level of vulnerability to me, and I thought that was so attractive, and I was like, okay, he is a soldier, he's a general, but he's not so hard that he can't express. Hi, baby, hell. that he can't express himself. And so I actually went and hugged him, and I didn't know that our youngest daughter
took a picture.
She took a picture
paparazzi.
Of it. Being paparazzi. And so we have that moment of him, the first time he was vulnerable with me. And I saw him handle conflict. I saw him handle conflict. So that was one of my most memorable moments. The first time I saw him be vulnerable.
Oh,
they're going.
Go ahead, Jen.
Okay. There are many, many great memories, but one that always stands out for me, we were on a vacation in, actually, it was St. Lucia, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Okay.
It was Jamaica, South Beach.
Okay, we were on a vacation and all-inclusive, I believe it was in Jamaica. And I was listening to a song, a Barry White song. I can't think of the name of it right now. Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, by Barry White. Can't Get Enough of Your Love. And we were just on the beach, and she was just walking back up to me, and that was just a great memory. And we started dancing. I do have a video. I can't find it at this moment, but that's a great memory I have.
Yeah. And again, this is a tough one. I have a lot, but I'm gonna say that my favorite memories or because we have two sons, but like seeing John being a father to the boys, how he would, just be with them, teach them, instruct them. There's so many, like he taught them how to play, like he taught Randy how to play the drums. My older son fiddled with the bass a little bit. So those times in the interaction, but particularly when they were babies and the look on his face and, those tender moments and times of being a father were very special to me.
Very nice.
So this is husband.
Hey y'all, greetings. Forgive me for my tardiness. I was working hard.
Husband.
I still gotta go back. I got like 3 minutes with y'all.
But I can answer this question while you're here.
Yeah, go for it.
My fondest memory of you, we were in Paris. The first night we were in Paris, and I had made plans, and the plans were supposed to be like phenomenal, especially as a person who's always dreamed of coming to Paris, and it was just special. We were on our honeymoon, and the weather, we had dressed so beautifully, And
we were sharp.
We were sharp.
We were sharp.
And then all of a sudden, the rain started, and then from rain to hail. And then he went inside and he purchased umbrellas. I love Paris. Once he purchased them, I think for like $12 each. We didn't even get them open before they broke.
Cheap.
Like it,
super cheap.
It literally just, the weather was just super terrible. And I was upset. We couldn't find our tour guide for dinner. And inside the Eiffel Tower, like I was really just, I was too through, makeup running down. I was upset. And he looked at me. He was like, well, babe, what are you crying for? Like, we're in Paris. And he looked at me with a smile, and my tears of like anguish turned into, we are in Paris. We were cold. We were wet. Umbrellas broken. But I just looked at him and I was like, we'll get a refund. You're right. And we held hands and we just walked around the Eiffel Tower. We ate locally, which is the best thing. And, you know, we lived as Parisians live, and it was just the best. Our first night in Paris, but it was the best. And I never forget that, because the look that he gave me was really assuring. And yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, y'all. Hey. Okay. So, let's say I am my mother's child, and my daddy's too, but you know, I have a lot of memories as well. So yeah, I wanted her to go first so I can think about it. If I had to choose one, it's one of two, and they're very close, very close. But fondest moment, I would say our first trip, which was out of the country, which was to Canada. First time I've been out of the country, staying somewhere. I've been on cruises, but in terms of like driving, staying somewhere, you know, out of country for an extended period of time. That was my first time. So it was like, I've never traveled like this. And because of this beautiful woman, I am out of my comfort zone. I'm out of my usual area. Like, I'm doing big things. I must be doing big things. So that's the general answer. And the more specific of the fondest moment was, we're in Canada and we're walking around, and she's just in this outfit got me looking bad, right? She got the big stunner sunglasses on, and she's just walking. She's on the phone. I'd probably, you know, on the phone with a mother or somebody, but she may not even realize I was looking at her like that. But I'm like, this a baddie right here, like, you know. And she's mine. Not only that, like, she's into me too. It's not like this is my dream girl and I'm chasing her and I feel like I don't have a chance, or I might have a chance. It's like, nah, she's for me just as much as I'm for her. And we out here and we're living, we're being adventurous. And so it was that realization that I am really outside of myself, but at the same time finding my most inner self. Kind of deep, right? But I would say that's why that's my most my fondest moment is like, I would use another word, but dang, you know, dang, like, all right, this is what's up. So yeah, that'll be my answer.
That was sweet.
Oh, thank you. I ain't gonna kiss you. Okay.
Yeah, you can kiss me. That's all right. They're right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
You guys are so adorable. All right, next question. I have to find a good one. I will always hold grudges about. Go. I will always hold
No,
grudges about. Go.
no more. I used to be a grudge holder. If I feel if I had some unfaithful. I had two unfaithful women in my lifetime who was cheaters, and my eyes is always moving, and I'm always watching patterns because I did celebrity security in my time, so I kind of got a little security in me too. So I watch patterns, right? So some things happen. I don't want to go deep. But some things happen with people close to me who's supposed to be family, and I'm like, wow. So and that happened when I was 19 years old. So as I start growing up, I said, man, this is the real world. People really do things like that. I had my faults, but I'm not a cheater. I don't believe in going with people being friends to somebody, going with their wife and going with their girlfriend. I don't dig all that stuff. Too many people out in the world for me to have to tear up somebody's family like that. So to make a long truth short, I have a faithful wife, and I'm cool with it. Can I share something with y'all and be very straight up with y'all? If I didn't have a faithful wife, I'm so secure now within who I am. As long as I stay right and do right, I can't make another person do right. So I'm not even afraid. I don't care if people come in the house right now and this men come in the house, different people.
This is
I,
the game.
okay, man, I'm teaching again, but okay. So all I'm saying is, I don't care. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I done slipped off into something else, maybe.
I would always hold grudges, but I'm not a grudge holder. Never have been. So that's my answer.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to. It's key, right? We don't hold grudges, even in our early years of marriage. We have our differences, but I can't say
Grudge?
that we've ever held a grudge. He never held one against me, or I've never held one against him. Not a grudge.
So I would say that yeah, I don't believe in holding grudges. So I would answer it to say I wouldn't realize I was holding a grudge in the forefront of my brain. But if I could be honest and look in retrospect, I would say when we were learning each other, and we had to learn patience with each other, and we had to learn how to speak to each other. So I would say there were moments where, to say the least, I felt I was spoken to in a manner that was below me and below what I deserved. So I forgave her in those moments, and we moved on and we grew. But there were times, and Ashley can attest to this, where it will come up, and my let's say fear of what happened in the past happening again, I would react to something that wouldn't even be that intense. And then I have to be like, oh wow, I must be holding on to this still. Yeah, I forgave her, but so yeah, the answer is I used to, and I don't anymore, thank God. Hold on to how I was spoken to, and I had to grow from that. Yeah, that's my answer. Yeah.
My answer is I don't, because look, he gave the fist sign. Because the energy that it takes to be upset, and then sometimes you forget about what you were even upset about, and then the next morning is like I don't go to sleep with that. So I don't hold grudges. I'm not a person that holds grudges. I may not forget how you made me feel, but I'll forget what you said. So because of that, it's just too much energy to harvest on being negative as opposed to being positive. So if we had a disagreement the night before, I still say goodnight, and I still play with them and everything, throw flour on them and just have a good time. But then the next day I'll wake up like nothing ever happened, because this is still my husband and we still have to get things right. We still have a lot to learn. And maybe some people don't know, but we've been married for less than 2 years. And the first year, like he said, we had to learn each other. We got married quickly in faith and just knowing God, but trusting God as well. And so having 30 plus years and his 30 plus years of independence and not knowing each other, and then trying to come together, there's a lot that we had to learn about each other and of each other. And so there were differences, but no, not holding grudges.
Right.
Yeah, that's my answer. Sorry.
Y'all are making this hard. If you could they never suggesting a kinky question because y'all are married. Have you ever faked an orgasm with your partner?
No.
Not even possible.
Oh Lord.
Oh, sorry. Mom, Dad, love you. My bad. Hey,
Can I
You
say
should see mom and dad's face.
We all grown.
Mom and dad are like, all right.
Sister Hannah, you ain't let me answer. I feel personally, I am so nice. I don't have to fake anything, and nobody has have to fake anything with me.
Oh, okay.
We got to get to a good one, Hannah. Somebody's got to tap out. Somebody's got to tap out. Everybody can't get a dinner. Somebody.
Oh man, is this?
And remember, guys, it's light and it's fun, so you don't have to overthink your answers at all. Okay, you know what, Hannah? I'm gonna ask a question. I'm asking because somebody has tapped out. Anybody can answer. What is the weirdest thing that turns you on? What is the weirdest thing that turns you on?
Can I say it?
Oh Lord, yes.
And I'm being very real. Excuse me, we got our dog in our face. Excuse me. You know the real thing that I love. I like movies. I like being a doctor. I can be role play. I like role playing. I even like further going. I like to buy the clothes. If I'm going to be a doctor, I want to come in with the telescope around my neck. And I'm going to say this.
No,
but I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor, and I'm also y'all going to get. I do that too.
Okay, you like role playing fantasies.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, go
ahead. There's two. It is weird for me.
Oh boy.
I like when he's really upset.
Oh my God.
Because the way his jaw clenches, I'm like, ooh. You know, there's upset, like rage, and then there's upset. I like that upset. So I like that one. And I'm like, okay. Let's just break even right now. And I won't say the other one because mom and dad is here. We'll be respectful.
So is that a half tap out?
Oh wow, Hannah. Okay. That's right.
It's either all or nothing. So if you're uncomfortable with sharing it, that would be a tap out.
Okay. I like being bit on my behind. That's it.
I guess I guess weird. Weird. Well, I guess we're just too. We like certain. Wow. Well, weird. I don't know if it's weird. I don't know. My babies are.
I gotta go back to work. I can go back to work.
No, it's okay. We can't think of anything weird. What we have is not anything. It's rather normal, that we've done.
The word weird is a tough word. What if you said erotic? Highly erotic. Maybe.
Oh, Jesus. There is enough water in my bottle.
No, because I'm only going with that to say one trip we went to, we had an excursion and we were the only ones on the excursion.
All right.
And we went to an island. We were the only. No, not true. One side of the island was regular bathing suits. Other side of the island was a nude beach.
But we were on the nude side, but
we were on the we were on the bathing suit side, but we turned it into the nude side. Because we were the only ones there.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And we were we'll just say we were in the water, and
one side of the beach was a nude beach. The other side of the beach was for the bathing suit. But since we were the only ones there, we turned that side into the nude beach also. And we went in, listen now, we went into the water about waist high. Now listen to this. I think back on this now. We was having a good time, but I wasn't thinking about no sharks and nothing back then.
Well, we were in the shallow.
No, baby. We were waist high water. Down in the Caribbean, anything could have been in the water.
We were good. We still here. Close your ears, baby. Close your ears. Anyway, yes. Weird. So, not weird, but
highly erotic. I don't know about weird. Maybe that was weird. I don't know.
And then we had lunch after all that.
Okay. Wow. We should have put a disclaimer on this episode. If you have children, there should have been oh man, okay. Would you rather me leave for a fling or stay and cheat?
I'm gonna answer this question and I gotta go back, and then hopefully we still go. I'm a firm believer, kind of like my brother. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the names, but no, I'm not one with cheat. Pastor Williams, I'm not one for cheating. So if you cheat, I love you, but if you cheat, that means that you weren't able to be honest with me with whatever you were unhappy with. You couldn't communicate enough with me, or you didn't trust me enough to communicate with me about whatever drove you to that point. So if you cheat, just deuces. Because even if you I'm sorry, I'll be like, yeah, you're sorry, and I'm gone.
Hold on. The question is cheat and stay or leave and fling.
Leave and fling. Dude, bye. Yeah. Bye. Go. If that's the case. Yeah.
That's our answer.
That's our answer. Boom.
Well,
I love you. I'll be back.
All right.
Well, we have a saying in this house: where you lay, you stay. So I guess that answers that.
And can I share something with you real quickly? A lot of time why people cheat, and I'll be very frank with y'all, people cheat because they have a lot of stuff inside of them that they don't express. And sometimes they can be freaks underneath, and they try to hide it and cover it. I believe that if couples talk and be real with each other and tell them what turned them on and what turned them off, and stop trying to fake and perpetrate and walk around like you got a cloud under your feet and you floating around. If something moves, you tell your wife, babe, I really like that and stuff. Even if it's real crazy and I didn't deal with that, that's fine. But if you walk around lying and trying to be deceiving, and then something come across your path that you really like, and you never said nothing and spoke about it, and now you tipping off at the nighttime and getting phone calls and saying you're going to the grocery store and stuff and coming back in at 5 o'clock in the morning, be honest with one another. If you know, all of us on this line have a freakish side to us. Every last one of us on this line got a freakish side to us. I don't care if you're a bishop, a pastor, or who you think. I ain't being fooled by nobody, right? So it's all right because God created us and he gave us that nature also. It just got to be in control, but he gave us that nature. I love living, and I don't see nothing wrong with once in a while with a little bump and grind.
Ditto. We are with yes. Right there. We got it. Okay.
Okay. So again, y'all coming to play. Somebody's got to win this bougie dinner here. So we gotta make somebody a little uncomfortable here, because somebody's got to tap out. You ready?
Right.
You ready?
Ask it.
Okay. If sex were a job, who's getting a raise and who's getting fired?
Listen, this man just ran from his desk.
Okay.
Wait, as in between the two of us, you mean?
No.
Yes. So if sex were
The
no,
father.
no, between yes, between the two of you, if sex were a job, is Randy getting a raise and Ashley getting fired, or is Ashley getting the raise and Randy getting fired?
I won't get fired, but he definitely get a raise. Get my five of them.
Oh, bless you. You nice. Yeah, I'll take that. I was gonna give it to you, but thank you. I appreciate that. Booyah. Yeah.
All right.
Raise. All right, I'm back. I'm leaving again. All right.
Mom and dad, who's getting the raise and who's getting fired?
Daddy gets a raise.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
I'm
Rev, who's getting the raise and who's getting fired?
well, I'm a CEO, so I'm gonna make sure he gets a raise.
Right now. Y'all are making this hard. Someone has to tap out. Oh, would you lie and spare my feelings or tell me the truth and hurt me? Lie to spare my feelings or tell me the truth and hurt me?
I'm not hurting you. I'm not hurting you when I tell you the truth. I'm helping you. If I lie to you, I'm hurting you because what you're going to do is you're going to think you was right and you're going to carry that all, into keep carrying it into your life and you're never going to grow. So if I'm your real person in your life, it's a way to tell you the truth, right? But I need to still tell you the truth and you need to tell me the truth so I can grow. I don't want to be a little kid. I don't want to be a big grown man in a little kid suit.
Yeah. Well, I would rather he tell me the truth because sometimes love hurts. I think that's, those you have to have those hard conversations in life, especially if you want this marriage to work. There's just times when you just have to have those conversations. And if it's something that the other one is doing that is hindering or causing separation or for that other person, you have to have that conversation and tell me the truth. Hey babe, this is what's going on. You said such and such, and you did so. This is how it made me feel. Let's talk about. So tell me, because you'll get over the hurt if you really love that person. You'll get over the hurt. Tell me the truth so we can work on this thing and move on. What do you say, Dad?
I say
you still take that person's feelings into consideration.
Right.
You just ain't gonna be just like cut them to the white meat, But
I say T. Maurice said it well. Gotta say the truth, but gotta find a way to say it so that it's helping and not hurting. And yes, that may be extremely difficult. It may not even be your words. It may have to come through prayer. Now, I do believe sometimes you, as the man or the husband, we are to be the covering, and we do have to protect. So if my protection of my wife comes with, how can I say it, not lying, but maybe not necessarily revealing. I don't know if that's one way of saying it, but it's the protection piece. Okay, hypothetical. Say I know something about one of her best friends. Hypothetical, this isn't true. And I know something that she doesn't know. If I feel I know something that might be harmful, that's going to hurt my wife's feeling and is concerning a friend, I may not speak on it. I may not speak on it. Depending on the situation. So there's just so many situations
Ifs and
that
buts
can, and again, I don't know. What do you think, babe? I would protect her if I had to not share something. Yes, I would.
But suppose it was something that about me though. Would you tell me? Like let's say, or you know,
No, I don't know
like if it hurt my like there was something about me that you needed to tell me about me. Would you tell me? It may hurt me, but would you still tell me? Yes, right?
The answer on that is yes.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Babe,
Okay, we got
you
to switch
stepping up?
thing up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'll answer while he walks over. So for me, I agree with Dad and T. Maurice Pastor Williams. What I will say is that I give in doses. I'm honest, but I give in doses only because of my fear. I won't say his fear, but my fear of hurting him. So I'll tell him what's going on externally or internally. But I may leave some things off the table until maybe it would never be like a whole month long drag out, but I'll probably tell him like, within the week, just giving it to him in increments and doses. And then later on he'll say, well, why didn't you just tell me? And I'm like, because I didn't know how you'd react, so I just, but yeah, that's my answer. I won't lie to him, but I just give it in doses.
For me, I definitely
Pastor Williams.
Yeah, I am more on the cusp of Pastor Williams, and my dad. But really, I'm more so. Listen, give the truth, give the harsh truth. More so because I'm like give it all or give it nothing. But I agree with my dad. Of course, presentation is a large part of what the partner will be able to understand and take. So, because I could be telling you the truth, but if I'm delivering in a way that you can't understand it or you won't receive it, then wasting breath. I understand my wife's take on it. I never really agreed with it because, okay, you could tell me something and you trying to protect my feelings, but in my mind, you're not, because if I got to think back to what we even talking about, those emotions are going to come back, even though I want to get it over with, all done in there. Let's understand what's going on, what's the problem, how can we fix it. Booyah. So booyah, sorry. Yeah, but so yeah, to answer the question, I'll hurt you with the truth, and I'll deal with the repercussions, but all of where I stand on that issue. And if you want to ask me questions, talk about it, cool. But I didn't hold anything from you. So, yeah.
Okay, you guys are making this very tough, but I just want to remind you guys, because we don't have like all night, don't overthink the questions or the answers. Have fun with it. It's therapy to someone else who may be listening, but it's just also supposed to be in the spirit of like having a good laugh as well. So to kind of switch it up, if you agree, Hannah,
Yes.
one of us will ask a question. Whoever, I guess, whatever couple raises their hand first, that's the couple that gets to answer it. But again, listen to the question and just answer it without having to be too deep about it, because it's supposed to be fun. So I have a question, but Hannah, do you want to ask your question?
No, go.
Okay. So whatever couple raises their hand first. So here's the question. What would you pay your partner to stop doing? Okay. I think we got the mom and dad. I think their hands went up first. I think. So yes, what would you pay your partner to stop doing? Either one of you can answer.
Leaving the lights on all over the house. Leaving lights on. Lots of money. Yeah. You got something? Oh.
Okay, Anna, what's your question?
What is something that you've never told your partner that if they knew before your relationship got serious would have caused a breakup? What is something you did not tell your partner that if they knew before you guys got together would have caused a breakup? Or before you guys got serious would have caused a breakup?
Okay, Young Hills.
So, that while I wasn't around, obviously, but when she was telling the story that I was chasing her, right, and she was dodging me, that during that time I was actually talking to another female, or I was weighing my options.
And he definitely would have just, I would have been like, I'm done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ain't that messed up, y'all?
All right. Reb, what's something if you didn't, what is one thing you never told your partner that if they knew before you guys got serious, you would have, that's a wrap.
From my end,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we were very, very, very. We were more open with one another than I think than anyone can imagine. I don't think that. I don't think I hid anything from him. I mean, now there are things that as we talk, things come up like, oh wow, I never realized, blah 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 blah. But I would say nothing.
Okay. Hannah, you got a question or I got one?
You got one. Oh.
Yeah. Because I gotta switch it up. All right, let's see those hands. If your house is on fire and you can only save one, what do you choose? Your wedding photos or your phone? That's good, Ashley.
My phone.
I'm not even mad about that because I know that to be true.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad.
The old Hills is gonna say phone too, probably.
And so will we because our pictures is not phone.
All right, everybody's saving their phones. They're like the wedding pictures. We gonna figure that one out later. Okay, Hannah, you got a question?
Ooh,
They're making this hard.
I know. Have you ever lied to your spouse to get something you wanted?
Yes, I'm sure of it. I'm trying to think of something, but to get what I want, yeah, probably. Oh, maybe a vacation or a trip. I may have like lessened the cost of the price or something like that, or it doesn't really cost. This is really a good deal. It's really good buy. I may have finished the number or something. So, yep. Oh, you can do it.
I think we're all guilty of that. I'm not married anymore, but Amazon packages coming to the house. I gotta hide them. You gotta hide them. I don't know them shoes. Those are new. No, I had them in the back of the closet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
These is old. This dress is old. I just ain't wearing it in a while. That's a shame. See, I'm glad I'm single now because I ain't got to lie no more.
Oh man. All right. Z, you got a question?
They're
Y'all are making this hard. Whew. Someone needs to tap out.
Yeah, I think we got a good batch here. Nobody's tapping out. Okay.
Ooh, name someone in my family that you could live without seeing ever again.
If this mic wasn't on, I promise y'all. I won't answer because I don't know who's watching.
Oh, fair. That's so fair.
We'll say that.
So we're tapping out.
Well,
Wait, are you guys tapping out?
Are we tapping out, babe?
No, wait. How we did anyone answer?
Nobody.
No, you guys said that you're respectfully not going to answer because you don't know who's on. So I'm asking, is that a tap out?
You know what? Let's be honest and shame the devil. This is fun.
Oh.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
We don't really have anybody. We don't.
I tapped out.
Yeah. I don't.
We got one that's out. We got one that's out. All right, we got two left. We got two still in the lead.
So we had to tap out because of that?
We had to tap out, babe. Respectfully. Nobody answered, honey.
But yeah, nobody answered though. It's who in the family that no, right? That we don't have anybody.
Well, I'm gonna get ready to answer. So y'all, we won the dinner. So y'all, hey, come on, special chef, and, bougie chef, and come on and cook for us, cause y'all gonna make me sick, cause y'all tapped out. So come on.
Wait, hold on. Mom and Dad did answer. Their answer was no, they don't have anyone.
We don't have anybody.
That was their answer.
Okay.
Ashley and Randy, are you guys tapping out?
Somebody's got to tap out. Somebody's got to tap out. If not, we gotta turn up the heat, Hannah.
We just gotta, the pot's been on simmer. You might need to.
So it's your family, not mine. Just your family that I have to identify with somebody I can live without.
In my family.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
you can say that.
No.
Watching.
No, you can't. She can't.
No.
We're not going to do that.
Okay.
We are going to respectfully tap out together.
All right, one couple down, two to
But we
go.
don't have nobody. Can we say we don't have nobody? That's kind of cheating. We don't have nobody. We don't got nobody.
Technically,
can we get another question, please?
Technically, it's a tap out. Technically. Okay, so one couple down. Mom and Dad and Reb and Maurice are left. Turn up the heat, Reb. Turn up the easy. Turn it up. Turn it up.
All right. All right, let's see here. Again, don't think too deep. It's just straightforward. Answer it short and sweet to the point. Okay. Which one of you could be dead wrong but has to have the last word?
It's me. It's me. It's me. I'm in need of prayer, y'all. I'm in need of prayer, y'all.
Okay. He said he's in need of prayer. People watching, he's in need of prayer.
All right. Here's a sex question. Somebody has to tap out with this one.
Yeah.
Outside of body parts, what things do you use for sex?
Toys.
Yeah.
It's not a tap out.
And it's good.
We can't answer no more.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because ain't.
Mom and Dad, outside of body parts, what things do you use for sex?
We're kind of old fashioned, so we don't really use anything. So it's just the good old fashioned. So yeah, I guess, is that a tap out? We don't have.
No, it's an answer. It is an answer. Oh man. One of the viewers said be specific things.
Toys.
Yeah, you. Where's the viewer at, sir? Where are you, ma'am? Where are you? I'm still. Share this with you. They got a lot of. They got a lot of stimulating creams. They got a lot of edible things. That's the things we use, sir, ma'am.
Oh God. I can't laugh anymore. This is I can't laugh no more.
My face hurts.
Okay, we still got two in the game, Hannah.
Oh,
I have a real hard one.
ask it.
Okay. All right, we gotta get somebody out now. Come on now. I gotta whip up a bougie meal. If an ex watched a porno of you and your current partner, would they laugh or cry?
They would cry because they would be hurt that it wasn't done.
I know that's right. But guess what? Can I be real with y'all? Can I be real with y'all? It might be enjoyable.
Take the wheel, Lord. Take the wheel.
Mom and Dad.
Go ahead, John.
I think the pastors won this one.
I can't.
Did not
Please, y'all don't judge. Y'all don't go around judging me.
I did not think in a million years, Mom and Dad would say, I think the pastors won this one. It's that answer for me. I think the pastors won this one. Whoever said that pastors don't enjoy sex and marry their life, People's Exhibit A, Timothy Maurice and E. Williams have officially won the bougie.
I enjoyed that with y'all, my brothers and sisters. I really enjoyed all of y'all.
Oh,
This was good.
oh man, my face hurts. I've cried. I've laughed. My stomach really hurts. Ooh,
This was fun.
this was a lot of fun. Oh man. There was one question that Mom and Dad had briefly touched on, and I would like to answer it and then we can close out. What was dating like now, and how have you transitioned dating when you were courting versus dating now? What did it look like? You guys have been married the longest, so you've gone from dating without cell phones to dating with cell phones and social media. So what has that transition looked like for you? And then with that, we'll end the broadcast. My God.
Let's see. Well, like I said, it was I was still young. I was, still in college and still had to, pretty much get permission from my mom to even date him. Again, no cell phones, no social media. We talked to each other actually on the, like on the phone. I would take the Greyhound bus to to go to Bridgeport to visit him on Fridays. And we would go and have pizza in the restaurant. So it was a lot of and then clubs were still out then. So we used to go to clubs and we dance and stuff like that. And you actually like dance. It wasn't like, like the guys on one side, the girls on one side, men and women actually dance with each other, back in the day. And so I guess the difference is just, we didn't talk to each other. Did we talk to each other we talked to each other probably at night because he worked night. So he worked for a medical laboratory. So we would talk like he would call, I would wake up out of my sleep and, he'd call me at midnight. We'd talk like till we fall asleep. We wake up, whatever. Well, he was working. I fall asleep. But anyway, so we didn't have instant access to one another. And we missed each other because we didn't see each other every day. And because we didn't we talked pretty much, I guess, every day or late at night, but we just didn't. There was still a chance and time to miss one another because we didn't see each other every day. You know, we were like a half an hour apart. So the difference in dating is that we had a chance to miss one another. We actually had things to talk about when we saw one another because we didn't just have that instant access like all the time. I couldn't just pick up the phone and call and say, you know, what are you doing like during the day and stuff like that, you know. That was like a, you know, a big thing. And then you know, and what was the question, honey? Like, what's the difference now, like with dating?
Mm-hmm.
Like we still date now. You know, we still have like date nights and you know, like Fridays before COVID. I mean, every Friday we would always go out to eat. We made time for each other. When the kids were little, and we would have like family night together, and we go to what was it, IHOP, you know. So we always spent time together. We always made time together. So we're still, even now, we're still dating. But the biggest thing I would say from dating back then to dating now is just not that instant access, and you actually missed one another, you know. So that was like the biggest, you know, the biggest thing.
Wow.
And he was introduced, like I said, to my brothers and my mother and everybody, you know, and me to his parents as well. So it was more, you know, you just didn't bring anybody home. You know, you were introduced to family, and it was, you know, type of thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I hope I answered it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my stomach really hurts. I laughed so much. There was a question that someone had posted. Should have been looking for it while my dad were talking. Nope, I asked already. No, I think we got through all of the questions. We asked the counseling question. Um, oh, that was the last question. What advice would you give to a couple that is here, or to any couple that is watching, or someone that is single and looking, right? So what advice?
I'll go after Chef.
I am people.
No,
People
yeah.
are me. What advice do you have for another couple or a single?
Chef, you had your hand up first.
Praise God. I need some deliverance. I need something because my husband, my future husband, he's blind. He can't find me. He's lost. I don't know where he's at, but he's
The
taking
GPS it keeps saying rerouting, even though I see the car circling the block, it just says rerouting.
I have an answer for the men specifically, but it does apply to women as well, looking for a man. I think nowadays times have changed. We know that role reversals are happening, or the ideas of role reversal is switching, right? My simple but very direct answer for the men dating is you have to know what you want. This is my specific answer. I knew what I wanted before I met her. It wasn't like, oh, I see her, I want her, I want what she has. No, in my mind, I knew what I wanted. I prayed to God first above everything. But if that's not, well, you know, we faith-based, you know, broadcast right now. But whatever, know what you want, and you have, as the man, as the head in this day and time, because, well, women have always been women. They're going to challenge us, right? And there's going to be times where you're not going to feel sure based upon what the woman you're pursuing or the woman you're with is making you feel sure that it's what you want, because you're going through an argument, you're going through a tough time, you're going through a situation. But if at the end of the day, in your core, you know what you want, you know what you prayed for, you know what you're seeking, and that woman you're courting, that woman you're with is it, then you fight for that. And I will piggyback, I'll add one more thing and piggyback on what my dad, Mr. Hill, said about how we present and being the covering. Like, as the man, you're the covering. We don't have, I've made this mistake sometimes where, yeah, we're men, we have emotions, right? But at the end of the day, we have to know how to express them. We don't get, unfortunately, the luxury of being able all the time to just explode if we're having a moment. So when you know what you want, there's nothing that should waver that, unless after you do all you can and you're changing and evolving and your partner isn't doing that, well, then reevaluate. But know what you want and don't let nothing challenge that. This is my answer. That's what I said.
That was a great answer. Mine is not just for men, it's really for everybody, just because of the experience. I watched a lot of Hallmark in my life, and I love crying over those movies and whatnot. But people think that it's just entertainment for that moment, that hour and a half, 2 hour movie slot. But in real life, you can marry, fall in love, marry, and it's not a fairy tale. A lot of people are scared about time. I got into, I won't say an argument, but more so like a debate about, you guys didn't go through anything. You know, you need to be together for years before you guys decide to marry. And that's not the truth. There's a lot of people who are watching right now, whether you're a believer or a non-believer, if you feel in your heart that you don't have to be judged by time, you move forward. And then, so don't be afraid of time. You can meet somebody today and they're your partner for a lifetime. Don't go by, because other people are not in your relationship. Other people, they're not in your bed. So at the end of the night, you probably will end up missing out on your blessing because of other people's opinions about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Don't think that your happiness is predicated on what your friends and your family is saying and what their journeys are, or what they think their journeys for you. How mom and dad met, how Pastor and his wife met, that might not be the blueprint for me, but what works for you will work for you. So don't think about time. Don't put time and let that be your glass ceiling, because then you're only hindering yourself from really growing and really expanding. And another thing I want to say is, a part of that growing and expanding, we put ceilings on ourselves. But what I said earlier is having a type. That right there, you limit yourself right there, because you're so busy looking at your type. If that was your type, then why y'all not together? So stop having a type, and you know, when that person presents him or herself to you, be open, be welcoming, don't be judgmental, because that could be your blessing right there.
Yeah, good. I would just like to say, for single or married people, that in order for you to love anyone or to look for love, that you really have to love yourself first. That you have to know yourself. You've got to love yourself in order for you to show and to give love. And to also know that, again, I agree with what everyone has said in regards to the time limit, that you know, take your time, wait, be sure, do seek the Lord. Again, I don't know if we have some non-believers on the phone, I don't know, but just, be sure within yourself, and know and love yourself. And then you can, it will happen. It will come. Mr. Right or Miss Right will come, but you have to be comfortable with yourself, and the Lord will, he will bless you. Remember, his time is not our time, but you do have to know and love yourself, in order for you to give that love, and know, and just to know and to discern, a person. Just take your time. Take your time and love yourself. And if you're with someone or you're not with someone, a man or a woman doesn't make you, doesn't complete you. You know,
Yes.
it is a joint effort. You know, it is we complete each other. We're it's a partnership. But we have, you know, we just have to be happy within ourselves. And it doesn't, John doesn't make me. I don't make him. He doesn't, you know, yes, he does make me happy, but you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with this. You know, you have to be happy within yourself, and he makes, you know, he just enhances my happiness, my joy of living and of life, you know, but you have to have those things for yourself, you know. Yes. And so, yes, that's what I would like to say. Mhm.
Rev and
Amen.
Maurice, do you have any advice?
Well, Maurice just walked already. I don't know if I can
Yes,
already.
I do.
Oh, okay. He's coming back.
Yes, I do. It's very brief, I promise you. Um, I would like to leave something very sincere to all those who are listening to us. And thank you, Sister Hannah, and to this wonderful panel. Just be real with each
Yes.
other, but be real with yourself first. That's
Yeah.
all. Honestly, be real with you. And then you can be real with your spouse. Everybody said, keep it real. Keep it real with who? Keep it real with you and God. Keep it real. And once you do that, when somebody
Amen.
come in your life, you don't have a problem. I'm letting them know, listen, I'm jacked up in this area right here. Because all of us are on a journey, right? And this journey is a self-awareness journey, and it's also a healing
Yeah.
journey. So don't run
Yeah.
from it. Don't run from your healing, and don't be ashamed when you talk to people and you look at another human being in the eyes. You say, "Listen, I'm jacked up." If they never say nothing, believe me, they jacked up somewhere too. So I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with no preacher. I'm not impressed with no bishop. I'm not impressed with nobody, no celebrity person on
No
television.
title.
Because at the
Facts.
end of the day, all of us are on a journey. Love you, people of God. Be blessed, and you are blessed. Royalty to the royal family. Thank you, sister.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Yes.
Woo.
This was great.
Well, all right. Thank you so much for chiming in, for being our couples that literally answered every question. We were convinced somebody would have tapped out by question number 2. We had when Zainab and I sat down to look at the questions, I was like, "Ooh, this is a good one. Maybe we can't ask this one. Maybe we should have asked those questions."
Yeah. We have to do round 2.
Yeah,
Another edition of this.
we'll have to. This just might be like a yearly thing where every February there's like the Love Boat edition, or we'll figure it out.
And
However,
then I have a new game, Hannah. So
ooh,
I have a new game. So we have
The
some nice
talk.
questions here.
Oh,
the
sex
the
talk.
sex
Great.
talk.
No, these are great. I also want to become a sex doula, so this is also going to help me. But these questions are amazing, and they're really good. It's not just about the act of physical sex, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But this is
And
Right.
See?
Good for you. Come
So
on,
so
sis.
we have a part 2.
There it is.
Right.
However, I do want to thank you guys for staying out and hanging out as long as you did. I appreciate it. Love more people appreciate your willingness to answer the difficult questions, the not so difficult questions, for making it light and comical, but also sharing your advice and your tips, tricks, and how you have made your marriage work for you. Right? What works for Baby Hills don't work for Mama and Papa Hill, right? Because they are two, even though they have the same last name, they are two completely different couples with two completely different things, right? So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being honest and transparent. Thank you for hanging out into the online viewers. Thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you guys in April.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes,
This is
Thank
great.
you.
good night,
Love you, family.
everybody.
Good
Love
night,
you.
everybody.
Night.
And we will organize your dinner. We will organize your dinner. I'm coming to you. We will